Wow.
It's perfect for you.
Ah, she's like singing out of my soul. Sometimes we get lost in our own little world, but it's all so much bigger than we realize. Shout out today goes to Greg Pacini. He shared a special link with me, a special song of one of his own songs. So today is a artist spotlight. This is special because this is a man who has accomplished a lot in his life, weathered a lot of storms, and is sharing his art with us. He is diving more back into music, writing songs, wanting to encourage and inspire other people. So I want to check this out with you together. Shout out today goes to Greg. What I know about Greg so far is that he is a psychotherapist of 44 years, amazing, who had an NDE at birth, which echoes most clearly to him in the songs that he started writing almost 50 years ago. So we're talking legend when it comes to helping other people as a psychotherapist. And now that he's retired, he feels drawn to reintroduce his songs and has this deep hope of healing hearts, he says. I want to review this song with you guys called To Soul, which is an interesting title, right? It almost sounds to me like a letter or a message to the soul. Are you ready? Here we go.
Your pain, your courage, yeah. Heart stained, when nourished, let go. To soul.
I like that.
Your anger, yeah. Your giving, yeah. Near the danger, lost in living, let go. To soul.
I want to pause here real quick. Guys, it's fascinating to me when people play various instruments at the same time. That is not easy. And I just love the combination here of the harmonic and the acoustic guitar and how he's just playing that really well together. And it really brings in this type of serene and safe environment to me for some reason. I just feel like it sets the stage to bring in an atmosphere of warmth, if you will. It's not very intense rhythmically. We're not finding a lot of rhythmic elements so far in regards to percussion elements. There's rhythm, of course, you can create through guitar and the harmonic and many instruments, but we don't have percussion instruments right now. There's not an intense beat, not a lot of strings that'll pull on our heartstrings. It's very straightforward in the sense of our chord progression, the melodies that he's playing, but it creates an element of warmth, I feel, and it creates an element of safety. And perhaps this is also me projecting because I know he's a psychotherapist, so we often maybe have this assumption this person is supposed to be safe for us. This is going to be a person that maybe, I can process my thoughts and feelings with, etc. But I love the warmth of it. And I like his voice. He has a nice timbre to his voice. There's something about his voice, about the warmth of it, that I don't know, makes me think a little bit of Bob Seger, perhaps also because this is a deeper song, and I feel like Bob Seger is one of those artists who has a touch of rasp, a very unique texture to his voice. He talks about beautiful things when it comes to life and journeys and such, and maybe that's why I'm seeing the parallel here. Still, his own artist in his own right, Greg over here, but just this warmth, that slight raspy, soothing texture. And I also find it interesting that the lyrics are simple in the sense of there's not a whole lot of rhyme schemes and literary art. There are simple phrases, and then he vocalizes, and that's unique to me because I haven't heard many songs like that where you have a phrase and then some type of ad lib or lyricless vocalization. But I wonder if I believe this is intentional, and I believe that it almost allows for some type of pause. When we look at, for example, Psalms, which also are poetry, which is also poetry and songs, the ancient songs and poetry that we find written by King David and others, we see that there sometimes is this word at the end of certain stanzas that says Selah. And it is this idea, from my understanding, to pause, to be still, to have peace, to perhaps even reflect. And when he does that lyricless vocalization, it makes me think of that. It makes me think of this idea of dealing with what the human experience is, your anger, your grief, all the joys, everything that is your human experience. And then he says, yay, yay, and ooh, ah. And it's these moments of pause that make me almost meditate or ponder what he just said the moment before. And that's kind of interesting. Also a little bit of a call and response feel, perhaps. It's unique. It's very unique. And it's also interesting to me that he's saying to soul. I thought this was a letter to soul, as in addressing the soul, dear soul, this is to you, for you. But here he is saying, release it, let it go to soul. And I find that an interesting thought, because instead of just telling the soul to let go, my understanding here is he's saying, of all these things we are experiencing, the anger, the grief, all these things, let go to soul. Does that mean we should let go to our soul in the sense of allow your soul to experience these things, allow your soul to exist, to be, to embrace it, the hard and the beautiful and the ugly? Let go to soul, release it to the soul for the soul to do what it does, which is being, existing. Or is it saying surrender it to your soul? All these things you're holding on to in your mind, perhaps, the things we try to control and understand and grasp, let it go and let the soul take charge. Let me keep listening.
Two solutions. Truth confusions, yeah, 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 yeah. Dreams preparing. Love's repairing, whoa, let go. To soul,
Oh, I like this. I like that. Wow. 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 When you have a person make a suggestion or say, hey, would you consider looking at this? Or I think you should check this out. I've said this a few times. You never know what you're going to get. And it may at first be like, this is not really my style or what I would listen to on my own time or whatnot. From the get-go, when I first heard the few seconds of this song, something about it drew me in. And then as it progressed and there was that vocalization in between lyrics, I thought, well, this is different. This is new, right? Where is this going? Is this my style? And I just keep listening. And that crescendo here that he brought in with his harmonic playing abilities is impressive. I mean, he was just, when we think of singers who just ad lib and do their crazy runs and show their vocal range, all over the place, that's what I felt like he was doing here with the harmonic, just taking us to the high notes. Or what electric guitar players, you have those electric guitar solos where they just take off and they're shredding and it's just crazy high and all over the place. I feel like that's what that was. It was this interlude. It was this epilogue or whatever you want to call it of showcasing, oh, this guy can play. He's just grooving now. He's ad-libbing with that harmonic, if you know what I mean. The acoustic guitar carrying it, setting the foundation. I also thought it was interesting because it sounded joyful. There sounded something almost that makes you want to move and dance, almost like, scatting and shibbity bop bop beep, even what he was doing vocalizing. It felt playful. It felt joyful. And some may interpret it more as like chaos, like wild, when you think of a storm and things are just all over the place, thunder and lightning. And that may be a way to interpret that too, right? That's part of a life as well, what our soul goes through, the thunder and the chaos and but it also could be interpreted as the joy and you're letting go to soul now, and now you're experiencing what it feels like just to be free and to break free and to have a good time and to tap back into those childlike emotions of living life and existing fully. That was very neat. The lyrics, to me, again, as I mentioned earlier, imply this concept of everything that is the human experience. Your hurt, your suffering, your joys, your expectations, your desires. And it went through this list. It kept it fairly simple, but various words he used were relevant to a deep human experience, right? It's not shallow. Oh, sometimes you're a little bit mad. Right? Oh, I have a chip on my shoulder. Bah. It was your anger, your hurt. It was words that really, if we were to just pause on that for a moment, most of us, if not all of us, have some type of memory or multiple memories. Yes, I know what it feels like to be angry, or yes, I know what it feels like to experience unrequited love or suffering and separation or diagnoses and death. Life is absolutely beautiful. The fact that we are here is a miracle scientifically, right? They say 1 in 14 trillion or whatnot. Not only from all the sperm that made it, you're here, from all the sperm that could have made it, you were the one, but also the DNA structure, how things came together from your mother and father, from what does Nightwish say in their song, the over 4,000 loves it took in 400 years for you to be here. The whole cocktail of what you became, even beyond just your somatic, your physical elements of your DNA and the things we can explain away, your consciousness, your passions, your desires, the things we can't quite ascribe to genetics or simply just dismiss by nurture, right? Oh, your parents made you this way. There's a lot of elements, part of us that make us who we are, that are mysterious and magical. You're a miracle. And it is beautiful to be here. Life is beautiful, but life is also extremely painful. And I think this song beautifully goes through poignant, powerful parts of the human experience. And then to say, let go to soul. And again, there's this dance within the lyrics that makes me wonder we could take this various ways. Again, still may very well be addressing the soul to soul. I'm talking about all these things that we have experienced, you and I, or it could be let it go to soul, as I said earlier. Let your soul be. I heard in this book or somewhere, I don't even remember at this point, where it spoke about we're often so busy doing what we think we should do and be what we think we should be. And our soul just keeps being. We are human beings, not human doings. We're existing. And we forget sometimes that we are experiencing what is because it is in contrast to what is not. Could you really be experiencing yourself without seeing yourself reflected in me? What I mean by that is, that I'm not you. We're engaging, even if through camera and virtual. You are you listening to me, and you're listening to me through your perceptions, your experiences, your emotions. You may be projecting and transferring. You may feel some kind of way about what I have to say, but you're experiencing yourself, your emotions and feelings in relationship to me, based off of how I'm reacting to you, how I'm making you feel. and how you think you should be towards me or around me in response to me. So we are existing, we're experiencing ourselves through relationship and through what we are not. I experience myself because I know that you are not me. And so we are constantly in this dance in life, in relationship, and how we interact with the world around us. Not even just people. It could be animals, it could be objects. We know that we are who we are, and we are experiencing ourselves because of the things that are not us. Our soul is being. We're busy doing, and we forget that our soul is just continues to be, continues to do what it was meant to, created to, has evolved to be, being. And there's something beautiful about pausing and sitting with yourself, sitting with your soul and saying, for all the anger, all the grief, all the things you've experienced, let it go. Let it go to soul. Your soul knows what to do with it. Your soul simply will continue to exist and be. And there's comfort in that. There's maybe some much more cyclical parts to life than we realize. And there's something beautiful and comforting to think, hey, my soul is existing. I am being. It's an ongoing, present progressive thing. I am safe. Even if I'm not doing what I think I should be doing, or even if I'm not meeting these expectations, or when I'm experiencing human turmoil and all these emotions that we deem negative sometimes, which they are not, or human, they're messengers. Instead of letting that pass through us and surrendering it to soul, we cling and we try to categorize and we try to judge and assess, and it creates more tension and shame and stress and guilt instead of going, hey, I'm feeling this and I'm going to let it happen through me. Of course, I'm responsible for how I act based on those emotions, but I am experiencing, I'm trying to understand where this is coming from, and I'm letting it flow through me. I'm surrendering it to soul, because soul is, it continues to be. Now, perhaps even in the afterlife, we're all connected, we're all being. It is not nothing. And even the nothing is something. And I'm getting super philosophical, but there's something comforting about that, about saying, I will surrender it to soul, let it go. That's one way to take that. I guess the other way would be to say, hey, just let it go, soul, I'm saying this to soul. You need to let go. I suppose there's different ways we could philosophically analyze that, and even psychologically how that impacts us. But I think this is a beautiful song. And again, even that lyricless vocalization he keeps going back to almost makes me feel like that Selah moment that I mentioned earlier, that moment of pause and reflection. Beautiful song. Beautiful song. And I think this is the type of song that I feel allows for interpretation, for you to sit with it, and for you to process, perhaps listen several times and process, what is this doing for my soul? What does this mean for me in my moment here and now? Because ultimately that is all we truly, tangibly have. This is beautiful. I think this is personal and it's beautiful. Thank you, Greg Pacini, for sharing this. Has a master's in science, a psychotherapist of 43 years, a singer-songwriter of 3 aired albums, author of 2 books, including endorsements from New York Times bestseller Anita Morani and Larry Dossey. Absolutely incredible. Check out gregpacinimusic.com or journeybeyondhardship.com. I have a feeling there's a lot we can learn from this beautiful soul. And I hope that this song speaks to your soul and encourages you that all that is part of your human experience it's okay. It's hard. It's painful, but you are not alone. You can let go and you can continue to be. I hope you know you're loved and you matter. Thank you, Greg, for sharing this beautiful song with us to soul. I'm going to need some time to process this and perhaps see what it's meant to say to me personally. And I would love for you to tell me in the comments what it's saying to you. What is the message for your soul that you feel the song can help you process and experience? I will see you on the next ride, you guys. Make sure to subscribe and comment with new suggestions. See you on the next ride. Ayo!